everybody, Noreen here. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for coming back and joining me. I know it's been a long while since I posted. There hasn't been a new video out since I believe early March. Between being sick and being off work for a fair bit of time and then returning to a very busy year end at the school, there's just been no time to get back into the habit of creating videos for you guys. So again, thank you for your patience. Thank you for all your well wishes once you found out I was sick, and thanks for coming back and joining me again. So today this video is really about creating embellishments for paper packs or projects where you don't have any coordinating embellishments provided by the manufacturer. And this stemmed from a Facebook chat we had a few weeks ago. Creative Memories has brought out 3 beautiful paper packs, limited edition. Star Spangled, which has a lot of Americana, 4th of July imagery. Oh Canada, which was brought out in time for Canada Day on July 1st. Again, kind of classic Canadiana. We've got maple leafs and Mounties and, you know, the topography of the Canadian shield and the classic buffalo plaid. And then also Brave, which I think is kind of intended towards honoring those who have served in military, but also wonderful for boy pages, scouting pages, camp pages, that kind of thing. So all 3 of these limited edition paper packs are awesome, but they don't have any embellishments. No stickers, no embellishments, nothing. So we've got to get creative and think of some ways to make our own embellishments. So I've got 5 ways that you can create some of your own custom matching embellishments. All right, so the first way is, of course, to punch it. Now, we rely on punches a lot for embellishments, and in this case, on this layout with the O Canada, you can see that I used the maple leaf punch to cut out several. I've got 6 different maple leaves here. And some I've popped off with foam squares, some I've left lying flat right on the layout. But, you know, really punches are probably the best, fastest, go-to sort of embellishment creator around. The other thing I like to do with punches, I'll show you just a couple of things really quick. I like to take, you know, a coordinating pen or a contrasting pen, draw some little dashes or little designs on it just to make it a little bit more custom. And the other thing that was really neat about punches is, of course, you get multiples of the same thing. So by stacking several together, gluing or adhering them together, you actually get kind of a nice thick chipboard feel embellishment. This one I think has about 4 or 5 punched cardstock maple leaves together. So once I've glued them together, I think you can see how nice and sturdy that is. So that's a great embellishment to add. All right, so the first one, of course, is to punch it. The second way to create some DIY embellishments is to cut it. Now you can see here, I think you can probably guess where these embellishments that I've got in my hand have come from. I simply fussy cut, which is kind of the term we use when we're cutting out an intricate design. I simply fussy cut around the various designs that were in this particular paper. And you can see also that in a couple of cases I punched out the design. So in this case with this circular sort of mandala or doily design, it was quite easy to pick out that repeating shape. But when you look a little bit deeper, you see that there's actually several shapes embedded. So this smaller shape that I have is actually the center of this shape, and then the one that I punched is the center of this shape, and so on. So you know, you really actually get a lot of mileage, even though when you look you think that there's just the 2 different shapes. In this case, there's the outside edge of that smaller design, and that's the inside of the smaller design. So by taking some really sharp scissors, and of course I love my Creative Memory scissors, but these little Cutter Bee ones by EK Brands are super sharp at the tip, and they're my go-to for fussy cutting. So again, with just a little bit of time, you can see that you get some really great embellishments that you can use on your pages. And of course, they're going to coordinate beautifully because the design came from the paper in the paper pack. Now, another way to use the paper in your pack is if you have a design like this where you've got the 4x6 or the 2x3 cards, you can certainly cut them out and have some great additions to your page. But don't forget to look a little bit more deeply into the page themselves. So for example, on this page, I've got some punched hearts here, which again, punching is a great way. But here is the heart, which I just cut out from this particular part of the paper. And then the Made in the USA is from over here, and I simply used one of my circle punches to cut that out. So I was able to get a title and an embellishment from the paper. Okay, you probably realize that this particular layout is very similar to the O Canada layout I showed a minute ago, and these layouts were my June 2018 123 layout design. So I'll put the link so that you can get the sketch for these just right underneath the video. All right, and here's that same layout, the June 123 layout, done with the Brave paper pack. And you can see that I've got some punch stars, again using that punch it technique, but you might not have recognized this hero. These aren't letters, you know, from a sticker pack or anything like that. These are actually letters that I cut right off of the paper. So one side of the paper had these frigates and ships, and the other side had some words. So this is a great place to look in your paper for embellishments as well. So here I just cut out each of the individual letters, mounted it onto some white cardstock, and I have a great title. Here's another example, the word protect, and I literally just trimmed it right off of the edge of the paper, mounted it onto some white cardstock, and I'll have another embellishment to use. Okay, so don't be afraid to cut it out. The third way that we can create some DIY embellishments is to color it. Now I've got my trusty CM pens here. You can use Copic markers, other markers, whatever you have on hand. And you're going to look for some basic embellishments that are probably black and white or pale in color so that you can add some color to them. These are the black and white stickers and the black and white embellishments. And all I've done, here they are, is I've actually gone in and colored in the letters, the white letters and the word love, and I've just edged that little moment. And on another aspect here, I've just taken the banner design and colored it in with my red and blue pens. So you can see that that would be a great embellishment for something like our Made in the USA layout that I showed you earlier. All right, and that would be able to pick up all of the colors that we've already used. Okay, now with the black and white embellishments, these are full of designs that you can color. So this one would be great. You could add your color there. You could color in these little dots. Here's another one. And as you can see, I've taken this particular embellishment and kind of treated it like a little coloring page and colored in certain areas, again with my red and blue. So that will be a fun thing to use on a page, or even make a cluster, which I'll show you in a few minutes. The other thing I wanted to point out to you that you may not be aware of is that you can actually color in your rhinestone gems. It works quite well. I like to use the bold end of my pen and just go over it a little bit and let it dry, because you don't want that to rub off before it's dry. Okay, so that's a great way to use your pens. One final way I'll tell you about is that if you have some plain white embellishments, you could definitely use the watercolor techniques that I showed you about in another one of my videos, which I'll link on screen here, to do some kind of watercolor dabbing, or even kind of stroke and paint the petals of these flowers. And that's another way that you can add kind of custom color to your embellishments. The fourth way that you can create some DIY embellishments is to think about words, think about writing it. Now I already showed you some of these black and white stickers that already have some great sayings on it that you can add to some shapes and create a little bit of a cluster. You can also add your letter stickers. So these are the script style letter stickers, and these are the new sans serif, without serif letter stickers. So those are great. Sometimes though, stickers are a little bit too big. Sometimes you need something a little smaller that you can add in, just kind of tuck in a little corner of an embellishment cluster. So I've actually created a little free printable for you with some everyday words. A special day, smile, happy, hope, documented, the good stuff. All just little words or phrases that you could use in so many different ways. And again, I'll link this underneath the video in the description down below. You can get it from the Organized and Creative Mom shop. It is a free printable, so you just purchase it for free, and then you'll receive a link to download it, print it out onto cardstock, and then you can cut out all of these little words, make little banners out of them, or just cut them out and use them as is. And I'm going to show you how I like to use them in just a minute. So again, the fourth way is to write it. The last thing I want to share with you today, or the last technique, is how to cluster it. Now again, embellishment clusters look so great on your page, but if you're starting from scratch and you have to make everything, you know, what's the best and easiest way to do it? So I kind of have a little formula that I like to do, and sometimes I like to make embellishment clusters ahead of time so that I have them ready to use. Most of the time though, I create them actually on the page or while I'm doing a layout. So really the four elements that you would need for an embellishment cluster is some kind of base. So it might be something like a tag. It's going to be probably a basic shape. So it might be a tag. Some of you might remember the Creative Memories tag punch, and you might have other tags. It might be something like one of those little cards. Again, just a nice square shape, or it might be, you know, a basic shape like a circle. Okay, so you're going to start with a base shape. The next thing you're going to do is add a decorative shape. So here I think I'd like to add, you know, that one of those little fussy cut designs. Maybe to this one I might add that flower that we cut out. And here I'll probably add the star, maybe like that. Okay, so first of all we have, let's do another one here. We'll do that one, and we'll do it just slightly off center. So you can see that, you know, none of them are perfect. Actually, maybe we'll do a different shape. I had cut these out thinking that I was going to use the shooting stars on that particular layout. So I had them kind of ready, and you can see that I've got a little bit of silver around that. Okay, so I've got my base shapes, and then I've got my decorative shape. Then I like to add a word. So again, I'm going to use these particular words that from my everyday word sheet that I was showing you earlier. So I've cut a couple of them out, and you can see that these ones are just cut into strips. I want to show you a little bit of a trick. If you have an old square punch, this is really, really old, you can make a perfect little banner edge. So just go to moments there, just by snipping that edge off with one corner of the square punch. Just line it up and punch. Okay, so let's see, let's make this one moments. Put that up there, and we'll just maybe leave this, maybe we'll trim that just a bit. I'll leave that here, and that's going to go down at the corner here. Okay, so that's the third part. So bases, a decorative shape, a word, and then we're just going to add another small final embellishment. So it might be one more little star that we're going to pop up. It might be one of these little hearts. I cut a couple different ones, different colors. Maybe I'll use the red one there. Okay, maybe that's just going to go off to the side. And you'll notice that none of these are layered, you know, right on top of each other. There's always a little bit of give, a little bit of asymmetry to it. And I think for this one I might use a little gem. I don't want to touch that red one yet until maybe that's going to go somewhere like that. We'll adhere it all together. And then I've got some little I've got another heart, and I've got a little star, or yeah, hearts and stars. So, you know, I might put something like that, okay? So, again, the formula that I like to use for making an embellishment cluster is a base shape, a decorative shape, a word, and a small embellishment or gem, okay? And if you follow that formula, you can't go wrong, really. You're always going to come up with a really pretty little cluster that you can use on those embellishments, all right? So whether you punch it, cut it, color it, write it, or cluster it, hopefully you've got some good ideas on how to create some DIY embellishments for those paper packs that you don't have embellishments for. So if this was helpful to you, if you got some great ideas about how to make your own embellishments, I would love it if you gave me a little thumbs up, or if you left a comment, or if you subscribe to the channel. Again, thanks for hanging in there with me. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for spending your time today with me. All right, take care. Bye-bye for now.